Okay, hello everybody and welcome. I'm so excited to have Dr. Neal Barnard with us today. He is definitely a doctor that needs no introduction, but for those of you who don't know him, I'm going to say a little bit about him. So Dr. Neal Barnard was born in Fargo, North Dakota to a cattle ranching family out of all funny situations. And he became vegan in medical school and also became really passionate about preventive medicine. And then in 1985, he founded the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, which he was not aware was not a catchy title. But we will forgive him because it does so much great work, which we'll hopefully talk a little bit about today. He's also written 18 books about all sorts of topics from diabetes to brain health to cravings for cheese to weight loss and more. And he even writes music, and he's a passionate vegan, and he also founded the Barnard Medical Center. So Dr. Neal Barnard, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. So I know that you're a passionate vegan, and I love that. Do you think it interferes in any way with credibility for doctors?
To be a vegan?
Mm-hmm.
To follow, well, first of all,
animal rights focused vegan from that kind of perspective.
And interferes with credibility, you mean if you're talking about the health aspect, people will say, well, of course you think that because you're against having animals be killed.
Exactly, like you're biased from the get-go.
Well, but the short answer is no. I don't think it's an issue at all, and it hasn't been a problem for us. But can you imagine if a person said they're against smoking? Well, why are you against smoking? Well, do you really think it's bad for me, or do you just not want yellow stains on your fingers, or do you just don't want to smell, or whatever? Eating animal products is like that, where it's obviously bad for your health. If you look at meat eaters and people who consume a lot of dairy, their cholesterol levels go up, their risk of heart disease is higher, their risk of many forms of cancer is higher, their risk of diabetes is higher, they weigh more than others. And when you go on a plant-based diet, your health is improved. There's just no debate. The environmental issues are even more clear. You would have to live in a cave not to know that there is global climate change, and food is a big part of that, and the biggest part of that is animal agriculture. So anybody who doesn't know that animal agriculture is bad for the environment is just not thinking. And then clearest of all is that a cow does not want to get hoisted up by his or her rear leg and have her throat slit. And I know that it's not fashionable for us to think about these things, but as you mentioned, I grew up in North Dakota, and we used to hunt. And my extended family raised cattle for slaughter, and all that stuff is part of my background. And if I have any biases, it's my childhood thinking all that is fine. But at some point, hopefully, you become a thinking human being, and you reflect on a few of these things, and you just decide, if I let animals if I just leave them alone, it's better for them, it's better for me, it's better for the planet, let's do that. So, society, though, changes kind of slowly. Look how long it's been to deal with tobacco. People kind of rationalize that. But speaking of credibility, I think a person has much more credibility problems if they haven't yet given up eating animal products. You think, what's the matter with that person? That's somebody who's not really thinking.
Yeah. Do you remember the moment when you felt connected to animals?
I have to say, for me, it wasn't that I was really an animal lover. It was just that you don't want animals to suffer. In the same way as if I have a human patient, it's not that you necessarily feel a kinship with them. You may or you may not, but your job as a doctor is to stop suffering to the extent that you can and empower people to keep themselves healthy. So it's for me kind of the same thing with regard to animals. So if you don't want a dog or cat hurt, and frankly you don't want any of them hurt, and we have the capacity to act on that, we should.
Just get out of the way, right?
Yeah, and to help if you can.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about your work with animal testing? I find that so fascinating and important.
Yeah, we have a whole part of our organization here that has been dealing with that issue since the beginning. And I guess what we're best known for is ending the use of animals in medical schools. So it used to be, if you were going to become a doctor, you would get a dog lab, and in the afternoon you take a dog and you tape the dog onto the table and anesthetize the dog and then inject drugs of various kinds, like epinephrine. You record that makes the heart go faster, and propranolol makes the heart go slower. So anyway, you record the results of these, and there are many variants of the lab, but these were at pretty much every school. We decided that we didn't want young doctors in training to get the idea that you have to kill animals. And so we were successful at getting rid of all of those laboratories at every medical school throughout the United States and Canada.
That's amazing.
Good move. And then we also have played a key role in ending the use of chimpanzees in research, which was also a good thing to do. On our staff, Christy Sullivan oversees another aspect of our research, which is the use of animals in product testing. And this can be pharmaceuticals or industrial chemicals or cosmetics or whatever. Animals are used in lots of ways. And Christy is a real genius when it comes to working with people who do testing or people who regulate it to bring in the alternatives. And she's been super successful at that. And she also oversees our alternatives program beyond testing, so in research per se, and also in animals in education. And the team has made a lot of progress, but there's still a lot left to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.